Painless English System book by Shivam Choudhary Phogat, the director of Painless English System. Chapter 2. The Problems with Schools. My teaching experience in different places convinced me that something is wrong with English education. Everywhere I went, it was the same situation. The learners were bored, frustrated, stressed, and nervous. Most students, even after years of studying English, fail to speak the language fluently. You are not alone, because it's a global problem. One of my student, Deepak Rana from village, described this combination of failure and stress as English trauma. Deepak said that he hated English. He felt that learning English was boring and stressful, and speaking was even worse. When Deepak tried to speak English, he felt nervous and shy. Deepak felt he had developed a psychological problem with English and had named it English trauma. A trauma is a deep wound or injury. How sad, I thought to myself, that so many people now thinking of English as a kind of injury or mental disease. I have met with many people, students who had similar feelings about English. I discovered that Deepak was not alone. Rather, English trauma is a global epidemic. Though most people feel they must learn to speak English, very few seem to enjoy it. Most who learn the language struggle with the same feelings of nervousness, frustration that Deepak had. As I encountered this problem more and more, I began to look for the root causes. I realized that before I found a solution, I needed to understand the problem. Just as a doctor must first diagnose a disease before treating it. Think about it. What is the cause of all this misery and failure? Why do so many people fail to speak English painlessly despite years of study? What is the wrong with English education? The first and most obvious problem I found with schools was the way in which they teach English. Most schools everywhere in the world use the grammar translation method. This method breaks English into an endless series of grammar formulas to memorize. Of course, each grammar formula has exceptions, and these must be memorized too. Schools like the grammar translation method because it appears to be serious, academic, and complex. The grammar translation method fits the way schools teach most subjects with textbooks, lectures, notes, memorization, and tests. But in real conversation, there simply is no time to think about the grammar formulas and their exceptions. The failure rate for this method, therefore, is absolutely horrible. Despite the failure of most students to speak English fluently, schools continue to use this method. This is an epic failure of our education system. Recently, because students find the grammar translation method so boring, some schools have added communication activities to their curriculum. Occasionally, the teacher puts the students into pairs or groups. The students then read or repeat dialogues from a textbooks. Sometimes they might be answer a few questions from a worksheet. Of course, these activities are unnatural, nothing like real English conversation. Consequently, the failure rate of communication activities is just as bad as grammar translation. Obviously, the English teaching method used in schools do not work. That was easy to see. I knew it, the students knew it, and many teachers knew it too, though few admit it. However, as I continued to investigate the problems with schools, I found even deeper problems in education system. These problems are less obvious but in many ways far more damaging to the students. I call these problems the hidden curriculum because they are hidden lessons taught by schools. The hidden curriculum. Most schools everywhere in the world share similar hidden curriculum. One element of this curriculum is student passivity. In school, students are trained to be passive, not active. They sit in chairs in rows. When they are young, they are told to be quiet and obey the teacher. As the teacher lectures, the students take notes. Later, they are told to memorize these notes in preparation for a test. The message is clear: learning is passive activity. You listen to the teacher, you take notes, you memorize the notes. The problem is that speaking is not passive activity. You must be connect with other people. You must constantly ask and answer questions. You must be communicate ideas, emotions, and description. You must be ready for the unexpected. You must be spontaneous. You must actively interact. English is not something you passively study. It is something you do. Related to the problems of passively is the issue of energy. Sitting for a long time is a low energy activity. The longer you sit, the more your energy drops, and as your energy drops, so does your concentration. What's worse, we know that some learners need physical movement in order to learn effectively. These people are called kinesthetic learners. The truth is, we are all kinesthetic learners to some degree because we all benefit from physical movement. Schools stick us in chairs and drains our energy. Eventually, an inactive body leads to an inactive mind. The one right answer mentality. One of the greatest flaws of school education is the idea of one right answer. One right answer is a powerful part of the hidden curriculum. It is a result of using textbooks and tests. In schools, you are frequently taught that there is one, and only one correct answer to a question or problem. For example, you may be asked to choose the correct verb tense on a test, or you may be taught proper English greetings. The hidden message is that the teacher's way is always right. Real life and real English is not this way. For example, sometimes it will tell a story using the sentence even taught event happened in the past tense. This is a technique commonly used by native speakers. However, when English learners hear these stories, many are confused and upset. They are convinced that the past tense is the right answer and only correct way to tell the story. Some get quite upset and even argue with me about it. These students are so convinced that there is only one right answer that they will argue with native speakers. These students have been trained to believe that there is only one correct way to say things in English. I know that you know that the truth is there are always many ways to say the same thing. We can change verb tenses in order to change the feelings of the story. We can use different vocabulary and different phrases. But what happens if the student provides a different answer? They are punished with a low score. And you know very well students are smart and they are quickly understand that in schools mistakes are bad and must be avoided. They also understand that truth it is an important and the best way to success is simply give the answer that teacher wants. They are just learning, so of course they will make mistakes. When the teacher corrects these mistakes, the student is embarrassed and became even more nervous. Eventually most students try to avoid speaking English because situation is so painful. We know that even native speakers make mistakes. We make grammar mistakes. We mispronounce words. We forget vocabulary words. It doesn't matter because we are focused on communicating, not on test and grades. Of course the fear of mistake goes far beyond English class. And this fear not only hurts your English speaking, it also harms your career and limits your success in all areas of life. You will make many mistakes as you improve your English speaking. There is no need to be upset by this. The truth is most native speakers don't care. They don't care if you make grammar mistakes. They just want to communicate with you. They want to share thoughts, ideas and feelings. They want to communicate with you as a human being, not as an English student. And it helps to communicate effectively. This is the big problem with schools. The school wants students have only low energy. But why would schools and teachers want low energy? Again, because low energy students are easier to manage. A teacher must work much harder with curious, energetic students. Sadly, most teachers prefer the easy way. It's much easier for them to lecture quietly to passive students. The truth is that many teachers are tired and stressed. Because of this, they are constantly look for ways to make their own job easier. Their first concern is not the students. They are not obviously focused on getting better result for the learners. They just want to get through their work day as easily as possible. This is the ugly truth of education in schools. This is the reason you cannot speak English well despite years of study. This is the reason you'll find English to be stressful, difficult and boring. This is the cause of English trauma. This is the source of the problem with schools. But happily there is a solution. The internet has made independent learning easy for all. No matter where you live or what you do. It possibly to master spoken English without schools. In the next chapter I will introduce the solution to English trauma. In the next chapter you will learn how to heal and how to finally get the result you want English speaking. In the next chapter I will be tell what is the psychology behind the English. How you can treat your English trauma. Thank you to hear us. Listen our next podcast. Special thank for Shivam Choudhary Phogat, the founder director of Painless English System. Special thank for Kavita Mavi who have suggested us to make this chapter. Thank you all creative team. Bye bye, take care. To get full course contact us. The WhatsApp number +91 7088616049. Again +91 7088616049. Thank you.